Dear straight people, what have you always wanted to ask a lesbian or a gay person, but you've been too afraid to ask? Hey, welcome back to the gay side of the internet. I am your host, Lauren Eloise, and this video is for the straights, maybe, kind of. So I asked my straight followers over on Instagram some questions that they've been too scared to ask. This is what you guys had to say. I actually was just curious, what are some things that you've always felt like you wish you knew the answer to or you didn't understand and you never had a person you were close enough with to ask? What have you always wanted to ask a lesbian? Editing Lauren here. I totally forgot to add this video is part of the 12 Gays of Christmas. Woo! All right, let's go. First question. How do you go about deciding who wears the pants as a couple, so to speak? I don't think we decide. I think it's just like straight couples. Someone in the relationship is always the leader or in charge a little bit more than the other, so the balance is like slightly tipped one way sometimes. In my current relationship, I think girl pal might have the upper hand for some things, not all of the things, and it's not something we consciously decided, it just sort of is. Would you rather swap your own gender or be attracted to men, i.e. identity or attraction? Such a good question, man. To be honest, I would rather be a guy. For many, many reasons. One, because women. No, honestly, I think going around the world as a man would be so much easier. If I kept my entire personality and then I was just happened to be a guy, I don't think much would change. The stereotypical feminine or women things I don't really care about. Although if I was attracted to guys, life would be easier as well. So I don't know. I'm so interested to know what you would choose. Please comment below. I want to read that because that is such a good question. How does it feel when people have a weird reaction or they're surprised when you come out of the closet? I think this one is easily imaginable. It sucks if people are sort of step back after you tell them you're gay. It hurts. There's certainly situations where, like my sport, I am afraid to say what I am because it's a women's sport and I'm scared people are going to be like, well, you're gay, so suddenly you're attracted to everyone. Here, no. Earlier this year, I joined an indoor netball team and I avoided telling them for the longest time because obviously in that situation, it does not matter. But there was something came up where I was like, yeah, me and my girlfriend, blah. I had to tell them and I don't know if they don't care. No one's ever said anything since. They probably don't care, to be honest. But there's like this little part of me that's like, someone please just say something else and be cool, just so I know like you're cool with it. I hate that. So I guess my feeling is unease. That's how I would feel. I love this next one. Are lesbians also either into butt or boobs as stereotypical straight men are? The answer is yes. Yes, we are. Okay, you want to know. I know you want to know. Do I like butts or do I like boobs? I think I definitely like both, but I think I lean slightly towards boobs. Has your sexual orientation ever caused difficulties for your parents/siblings? If so, how did they or you react? For me, it hasn't necessarily caused difficulties. My family were accepting. I didn't want to talk about it when I did come out because, I don't know, I think I was just embarrassed. Yeah, maybe embarrassed was the word back then. My sister didn't believe me. She thought I was joking. I can't really remember what my brother thought because he would have been like a 9-year-old or something at that time. He probably just didn't understand. And my dad was like, oh yeah, I knew type thing. And my mum didn't think it was serious. But we're talking many, many years ago now. Next question. What do you really think of having straight followers? 1, they're pervs. 2, they're curious / want to educate themselves. 3, they're in the closet. Or 4, question mark. When I first started my Instagram and YouTube account, I never purposely thought I would only ever have an LGBT audience. Like, there was never really my intention. I've always known straight people are going to be there and I don't mind. That's fine. I think they're all of the above, to be honest. There are some people who just follow me for being lesbian and I don't like that because it's sexualizing me or sexualizing my relationship with my partner and I just don't like it. And I do try and weed out those people. I block those people pretty early on. A lot of the comments I get on YouTube are from LGBT people anyway, so it would only be like a small percentage that would be straight, I'm assuming. But you guys are going to prove me wrong in this video because you're going to comment below and I'm going to see you and there will be visibility for you. in regards to number 2, they're curious and want to educate themselves. I don't think people fall into that category as much as I wish they did. As a result of following me for other reasons, that is a consequence of that in a positive way. Sure, some people might have followed me just because they're like, oh, that's a pretty girl or whatever. Or they are curious about what it's like to live as a lesbian. I don't know. But as a side effect, they are being educated or their minds are being opened up to what it's like to be like this. And I think that's a good thing. For option 3, with them being in the closet, I definitely think there's a lot of girls, straight girls, who would have found me at some point. You know, maybe really liked my content, maybe liked my vibe, I don't know, followed me, subscribed, but then later found out that they weren't straight. So I definitely think there is a massive chunk of women or girls for that one. General rule of thumb, I don't mind, as long as the guys aren't being creepy. I've never had a girl be creepy to me, but there's a first for everything, is there? Do all gays fall for the best friend? Great question, because yes, it is a massive stereotype for us lesbians. A lot of us do fall for our best friends. I did, my girlfriend did, other people around me I also know did that. Oops. But also I did have other best friends in my lifetime, and I had absolutely no interest in them romantically at all. So it's not like every best friend or every gay will experience this. I just think it is quite common. So no shame if you do for your best friend. Oh, today is literally so hot. And with these lights in here, it's like probably 30 something degrees. Have you ever been attracted to a man before? When I was 16 and I dated a guy, he was attractive to me. He wasn't ugly, you know? So I can definitely notice when guys are attractive. Like I'm like, that's a conventionally attractive guy. Or that's, to me, my taste, that is a conventionally attractive guy. I can say both of those things. But to actually say that I am attracted to them would mean that I am romantically or sexually attracted. And both of those things I'm not. If there's someone who's a really pretty guy, do I want anything romantic with him ever? Or am I daydreaming about that? No. Or sexually? Definitely not. If we're going by like the definition of attraction, no. Never romantic, never sexual. Next question. Where did you get your shirt? Oh my God, I thought you would never ask. This one is one of my older merch collections called The Lovers, which you can get on my merch store using the code 12gays. It will get you 10% off during December, so go check it out. Merch helps me keep this channel as ad-free as possible, so thank you so much if you've already got some, and thank you in advance if you do get some. This may be a weird question, but how do you ask each other out? Like, who does what? And it's a great question because us gays, we don't have the answer for this. It really depends. At least at the start of a relationship, it's kind of just like 50-50. Like, someone just does. In my own relationship, who asked who out on a date? I'm not really sure. I can't remember, but I know I asked Girl Pal to be my girlfriend, and in our world, that means she's going to be the one, so it's her turn to ask to be married. We're sort of like taking it in turns, even though there's only 2 turns. Who's going to be the one to ask for a divorce? I guess that's me. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I know you're watching this video, Girl Pal. I love you so much. It's not going to happen. Honestly, it's just whoever has the more courage to ask. I know I said it was going to be anonymous, but I actually asked my mum. So mum says, my question is, do you feel disadvantaged being a lesbian? Or has today's society changed or are more educated that it doesn't seem like there's any disadvantage? This is such a good question, actually. In the grand scheme of things, I don't feel like I'm disadvantaged. I definitely feel like I'm not taken seriously sometimes because I am gay or I am dating a woman in situations like being on van trips with Girl Pal. People don't take us seriously because we're women. 2, we look like children, so they don't take us seriously. And then 3, there's 2 of us, so there's no man there for them to ask all the questions to. So that is really annoying. But if I'm thinking of like the word disadvantage, that means opportunities that would have been given to you are now taken away because you're gay. And I don't think that I've had any of that in my life yet. which I am extremely lucky. The only thing that I could maybe say opportunity has been taken away from me, and I say that with quotes, is having kids, because it would be so much easier if I could just be with a guy, you know? But there's so much like technology, and I'm lucky enough to live in a country where donors are a thing, so I have that opportunity at least. For everyone else, I can't speak for every other lesbian or gay person out there. I'm sure people have been refused jobs because they're gay, or excluded from other areas of society because they're gay. I don't doubt that that is an experience that some people have. Even losing friends or family members is a disadvantage that fucking sucks. In saying that, I also do think, yes, society has progressed a little bit. If you think about when my mum grew up, in the 70s, being a lesbian back then, you would have been bullied. You wouldn't have had the same acceptance as today's society. So there is a little bit of growth. We are learning and becoming more educated, but there's just so much more work to do. People message me from other countries being like, Lauren, I don't know what to do. I'm gay and I can't come out because it's illegal in my country. That is a disadvantage, and that sucks. That was such a deep question. Let's go back to an easier one now. Can/should straight people go to Pride? Yes, definitely. The short answer is 100%. Please come. It's a fun time. The long answer is, think of it as like a birthday party, right? You've been invited to a birthday party. It's not your party, so don't be a show-off and don't steal the light from the person whose birthday it is. You're allowed to have fun, you're allowed to celebrate, but at the end of the day, you remember it's this person's birthday. So be nice to them. And be nice to them all year round, otherwise you won't be invited next year. That is such a genius analogy. Just don't be a dickhead. Why are there so many letters in LGBTQIA? How is anyone meant to remember and keep up? I don't know, man. I really don't know. I don't know why there's so many letters. I think it started off a shorter acronym, but as we came up or labeled sexualities better, I don't know, letters were added. That's also why we put the plus at the end. If you do LGBT plus or LGBTQ plus, then it's showing there's more letters or there's more sexualities and etc, etc. I do agree that sometimes it is hard to remember them all and it is hard to keep up. I understand that. I am never upset if someone doesn't know how to say the acronym. That's okay. I can see you trying, or I can tell by your vibe and your personality that you're not an asshole. It is just hard. As long as you have an open mind and you're accepting, it's okay. Like, there is a lot to learn. You do not have to know the meaning of every single term. I do not know the meaning of every single term there is. There are so many. There was actually another acronym that was created, which I cannot remember, and I'll try and put this on the screen. It was something like gender and sexual diverse people. The acronym was like GS something, and it just encompassed like all of the genders, all of the sexualities. There's like 3 letters. I wish we could move to a place where we use that instead of LGBT, because then it would be so much easier. What do you think about companies changing their logos to rainbow during Pride Month? Personally, people might disagree with this. I don't really care. Like, a statement on the bottom of your job application form is more important to me than a logo changed to rainbow in Pride Month. I want to see when I'm applying for jobs for you that you're like, we're an all-inclusive company. That is more important. Or like a section similar to that on the website itself. That is more important to me. If I see that, I'm like, yeah, I feel confident and comfortable working for you. I don't care if you put your rainbow as logo. I don't care if you put your logo as rainbow as much, because it sometimes is just performative. You're just trying to look like you're all for the gays, but you don't actually do the groundwork. And it's also just advertising. I sort of have the same opinion with massive businesses running floats during the Pride parades. Like, if you're a massive business and you can afford to do floats and you're just going because people in your workplace are gay, I don't think that necessarily deserves to be in a parade. The parades to me are more for the little organizations, whether they're volunteer or non-for-profit, those ones that are actually for the gays or for the trans community, etc., that are doing work within the community. They're the ones who deserve to be in the parade. I wish bigger companies would sponsor those floats so that they could have better floats or better visibility or do more things during the year because they have the funding. Sort of similar with the logo thing, like don't waste your time doing that when you could do something else. And the last question, what is the right way to ask if someone is gay? This one really depends on the situation. I hate to say that, but it does. If you want to ask someone who is your friend, I think you can start by saying, hey, I'm gonna ask you, or is it alright if I ask you something really personal? You don't have to answer, or you don't have to tell me the truth if you don't want to. That's a great way to ease into the question and know that you might not get the answer, and that's okay. If on the other hand, you want to ask someone in your workplace or someone you're not super close to, you could try that strategy, but also I would have a think before you do and ask yourself, do you need to know? Is it your business to know? Because it probably isn't. If you're just a good person or you show that you're an ally in other ways, someone will read that and know that you're a safe person to talk about it with. If I'm at work, for example, if I know someone is generally okay with the LGBT community, maybe they make comments and they're open and accepting, then yeah, maybe I will let it slide that I'm dating a girl. And then there's your answer. As long as you're polite about the way that you ask and you offer the opportunity for someone not to answer, then I think that's okay. Thank you so much for submitting a question if you did. If you want this to be a series or like you want a part 2, please let me know because I would absolutely love to do another one of these. This was really fun. Don't forget to check out merch and I will see you in 2 days' time. Bye!